hell did we just watch? What the hell was that? Usually I come on after losses and I just ream the Niners. And I enjoy doing that. I think I'm pretty good at it. But I'm not going to do that today. I'm not. I actually have sympathy for the 49ers. This game never should have happened. This was an abomination. This was a travesty. I mean, the Niners didn't have their left tackle, their two starting wide receivers. I'm talking Ayuk and Kendrick Bourne. Because Kendrick Bourne had a false positive. How avoidable is that? Why is he only taking one test at a time? Give him 4. If one of the tests is a false positive, the other 3 won't be. So you have like a multi-billion-dollar industry. They can't get a test that's worth more than $5. They have these faulty tests. The Niners lose 3 of their most important players. They have to play this game. They have to throw out their game plan on Wednesday. It was all built around Brandon Ayuk. Now they have to throw in Richie James Jr. And the NFL put this on national television. Like, hey, check out the Niners and Packers rematch from last year's NFC Championship game. They really build it that way. Hey, rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. And then they have little pictures of like Nick Mullins and Aaron Rodgers as if the rest of the Niners are going to be there. I mean, the NFL is so greedy that they just put this game out there and said, people will watch it or they won't. Who cares? We need to fill up this time slot. It's terrible. And I really feel like if these had been 2 East Coast teams, the NFL would have postponed this till Sunday. But no one cares about the Niners on the East Coast. You know? Also, no one in the league respects Jed York. Jed York's at the children's table at the league. He's basically at the high table. They're not going to give Jed York a break. So we got this. The Niners had to go. I feel bad for the coaches. I feel bad for all the players. Jaquaski Tart got hurt. K'Wan Williams got hurt. They never should have played this game. For starters, because it's Thursday night. Thursday night football is an abomination. But to make them go through with it when the Niners especially didn't have their guys, I thought it was disgusting. I'm sorry we had to watch this. I'm sorry they had to play that game. It's disgusting. What do we learn about the Niners from this game? That they don't win when all their players are hurt. What do we learn about them? Do they stink? Not really. They stunk tonight, but that wasn't the Niners. The starting wide receivers were Richie James Jr. and River Craycraft and Trent Taylor. That's like back when Brett Swain was a starter for the Niners. Brett Swain, remember him? How can you really blame Kyle Shanahan when he's starting River Craycraft because Kendrick Bourne had a false positive test? It's a joke. So look, I'm going to go through all the big hitters and give my critiques, but I want you to know I'm going easy on the Niners today because this was a joke. The NFL created this. Thursday Night Football is ugly to begin with. This was the ugliest football game I've ever covered. By midway through the third quarter, I'm like, why do they have to play this? Why do I have to watch it? Why do I have to write about it? Because I don't think it says anything about anything. It's a bad Thursday night game. The Niners will move on. They'll have a lot of time to rest for the next game. It's a whole different thing. So let's start with Nick Mullins. Should we? I'll start with Nick Mullins. I gave him a C for his performance. Maybe you think that's generous. I would have gave Jimmy Garoppolo a C as well. I mean, what the hell was Nick Mullins supposed to do? He made some nice throws early in the game, early to Richie James Jr. down the middle. The throw to River Craycraft in the end zone was beautiful. I'm not saying Nick Mullins is a franchise quarterback. I'm not. Hold on. I'm just saying he played well early, and then the reality of the situation set in. He had Justin School at left tackle. That guy was not physically there. He was a hologram. Then the center was benched on a short week. They brought in Daniel Brunskill to center and put Tom Compton and Colton Kivitz at right guard. So there's no pass protection, no run game. Jerick McKinnon ran hard. Jermichael Hasty had nothing. They only ran the ball 15 times with their running back, 16 times. So no run game, no pass protection, no wide receivers who can get open other than Richie James Jr. James Jr. played well, but you can't throw it to him every single time. So, I mean, look, if Jimmy Garoppolo had played under those conditions with none of his players, no Debo, no Kittle, no Trent Williams, no Mostert, you wouldn't let me give him less than a C. You'd be like, Grant, you're being really harsh on our favorite player. Let's give some context. Those aren't excuses. That's context, and that's legit. You know, I downgraded Jimmy Garoppolo the last couple of weeks because he was throwing shovel passes to Debo Samuel. Well, Nick Mullins didn't have that luxury. He actually had to throw the ball down the field to Richie James Jr., and that didn't go so well all the time. A lot of the time, what I saw from Nick Mullins was he was throwing to people who weren't open. Now, I don't want to make excuses for Nick Mullins. I'm the number one Nick Mullins backer, and what we saw today is a guy who isn't ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, who is not the long-term answer for the 49ers at quarterback. I never said he was. He's still inexperienced. The Niners have to bring in new quarterbacks next year. They could trade for Matt Ryan. I didn't think it was feasible, but I talked to AP's Josh Dubow, and he pointed out it's actually Matt Ryan would be cheaper for the 49ers next season than Jimmy Garoppolo would be. That's the truth. Because there's some prorated bonus that the Falcons would be on the hook for if they traded him that the Niners wouldn't be. So, Matt Ryan, Matthew Stafford, that's something they got to do. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't think. They could keep Jimmy Garoppolo for another year as a bridge quarterback, but he's quite an expensive bridge quarterback. They could keep Nick Mullins as the bridge quarterback next year. He's much cheaper. You bring in Matt Ryan and draft a quarterback. One of those two. I mean, that's where we're a few weeks, right? We've agreed on that. I have a soft spot for Nick Mullins, and it really, I didn't like watching him get pulverized today. Felt like my son out there. Like, get him out of there. At a certain point, I was like, just put in CJ. Because CJ likes taking hits. He's like Steve-O from Jackass. He laughs when he gets hit and gets back up. So, yeah. But I'm glad that they didn't take Nick Mullins out because when the game was over, he had lost his poise. He'd been getting hit. He got hit from behind and fumbled. That looked bad. He got up. He didn't get hurt. He finished the game and made some nice throws down the stretch against prevent defenses in garbage time. Good for him because he didn't bounce back against the Eagles. They need him to bounce back because they're not going to win games with CJ Beathard. You know, they don't win all their games with Nick Mullins. They win about half their games with Nick Mullins. They win a game, they lose a game. With Beathard, we've seen that. He's 1-10 or 1-9 in his career. You can't win with Beathard. He's a loser. He'll do certain nice things, but he'll get you beat. He's lost twice to Josh Rosen in his life. Nick Mullins has beaten Russell Wilson. Okay? He's not a franchise quarterback. He didn't play like a starter tonight, but he gives the Niners the best chance to win while Jimmy Garoppolo is out. And Jimmy Garoppolo's going to be out for a long time, so the Niners needed to keep him in this game and get him confident. Because if they win next week, the season isn't over. They're going and they're playing in a dome. Nick Mullins, his arm will look stronger without the wind. He bounced back. Not a promising game. Not a game where any GM would look at it and be like, well, that's our quarterback next year. That's our guy. No. But, again, how do you judge any quarterback? Tom Brady. You put Tom Brady out there behind Justin School, Tom Compton. Say, hey, River Craycraft's your guy. Throw River Craycraft 5 passes. Tom Brady's going to look awful. Now, not that bad. He probably won't turn the ball over twice, but you saw Tom Brady last year in New England. He stunk. He had nothing to throw to. Well, he had no run game, no protection, no one to throw to, no one to get open. Unless the quarterback is Russell Wilson and can just run around on his own, you're not going to look good. And Nick Mullins can't run around on his own. When he has to bolt the pocket, he looks like he's in middle school. When he's in rhythm, he looks fine. So, did we learn anything new about Nick Mullins? Not really. No one really thought he's a future franchise quarterback. No one thinks that. He was undrafted for a reason. At best, he'll have a super backup career like Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's made a lot of money in the league. So, Nick, we're going to see you next week. Looking forward to it. Next week, they should have Brandon Ayuk, Trent Williams, maybe Raheem Mostert, maybe Debo Samuel, maybe. I'd like to see Nick Mullins play with the full complement of players before we bring in CJ Beathard. For the love of God, don't do it. Give Nick another chance without River Craycraft on the field. Because, God, River Craycraft. Where did he get that name? Who named him River? First of all, have you ever heard of a Craycraft? Do you have neighbors named the Craycrafts? I don't. So you got this family named the Craycrafts, and they're like, we need to give our son an equally weird name to fit his last name. Do you want to name him David? No, that's David Craycraft. What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that? People think he's normal. No. How about Inlet? How about Lake? No, we have a lake at left. We have a lake at left guard. Lakin. We need a River. Oh, that's good. I like River. River. All right, let's talk Kyle Shanahan. Again, I'm not going to go really hard on Kyle Shanahan. He was in a bad position. But look. I grade Nick Mullins on a curve. Okay, he's an undrafted guy, a backup quarterback, making $750,000 a year. They're not exactly paying him to make plays. That's not the expectation for Nick Mullins. Kyle is supposed to be the best. He's making tens of millions of dollars a year, or 10, and he's really good. I'm not saying he's not. We've seen him. He wasn't good tonight. Look, good Kyle Shanahan has great game plans and great adjustments. He has a million ways to work around the limitations of his quarterback. You get the jet sweeps, the shovel passes, the screens. They're established right away, not to mention a run game. When Kyle Shanahan is on, he's locked in and almost can't miss, no matter who's on the field. When he's off, he seems disengaged. And I'll tell you what I mean. It's like, the NFL isn't going to let us have our wide receivers over some technicality. And I have to play River Craycraft and Kevin White and Trent Taylor. Fine, then I'm going to start them all. Forget it. You know what I mean? It's almost like a kid who's like sulking. It's like, man, this is what I got to do? Fine, I'll do it. River, you're starting. It's like, no, Kyle, why would you do that? 3 straight passes to start the game. River Craycraft on the field to start. It's like, you're not really taking this seriously, man. You're like, all right, well, the NFL screwed me. I don't have anything I can do. I'm just going to lose. So nothing creative in the run game. No screen pass until it was 31-3 with like a minute left in the third quarter. You changed 3 of 5 starters on your offensive line on a short week. Now, there's nothing you can do about Trent Williams, but benching Grasu, moving Brunskill's position and elevating someone else, how is that going to work out? Offensive line is all about continuity. The more they play together, the better they play. Hronis Grasu's only been on the field for a few games. You take him out because he was struggling to pick up Bobby Wagner last week, and you bring in Daniel Brunskill. How'd that work out? Was that an improvement, Kyle? Again, I have respect for Kyle. The reason I'm saying this is because I think he's great. And that was not great. We've seen great Kyle. Great Kyle was what he did against the Rams. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo had 46 air yards in that game. He was just shoveling the ball to Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, and it worked. Richie James Jr. can do that. Anytime Richie James Jr. gets a screen, it's a 20-yard gain at least. So where was it? I get the feeling with Kyle that when he has Jimmy Garoppolo, there's a lot of pressure on Kyle Shanahan to win. From internally, externally, the himself, the owner. You got to freaking win when Jimmy Garoppolo's on the field. And Kyle really has great game plans for Jimmy Garoppolo. Establishes the run. He makes life so freaking easy for Jimmy. But when Jimmy's out, I kind of look at it as like Kyle's like, well, I don't have to win. I mean, I got a million excuses. I don't got my left tackle. I don't have my wide receivers. I don't have my quarterback. Forget it. Like, let's just call it however, Why work really hard this week? It's like, should I do my homework or just show up to class and wing it? Should I study for this test or should I just show up, see what I can do? I'm really smart. That's the way I look at it. It's like when you have Jimmy Garoppolo and he's going to study. It's like, I'm not going to blow this. I'm going to be blamed if we stink with Jimmy Garoppolo on the field. But if Nick Mullins is out there, it's like, all right, I got 8,000 excuses. I'm not studying this week. I'm not going to have my best game plan. And when we lose, I'll just blame Nick or Justin School. So again, I'm not crushing Kyle Shanahan. I'm just saying, Kyle, you're better than that. You're better than that. You called 5 passes for River Craycraft and 3 for Ross Dwelly. You're better than that. You're way better than that. You lose your top 3 wide receivers and you come out first play of the game in the 3 wide receiver formation. You're better than that, Kyle. That's not your identity. You would think when Kyle Shanahan loses all of his wide receivers, he comes out first play of the game in like a 2 tight end formation. 2 tight ends, 2 running backs. Juszczyk wasn't even on the field. You're better than that, Kyle. To me, that's lazy, Kyle. When I see first play of the game, Nick Mullins in the shotgun, no Kyle Juszczyk on the field, River Craycraft, Trent Taylor, and Kevin White on the field, it's lazy. That's capitulation. Like, whatever. It'll work or it won't. If it doesn't, we're going to blame Nick Mullins. Not my fault. Not expected to win with my backups on the field. So I'm just going through the motions. And I'm going to sing as I lose by 25 or maybe just 17. But it feels like 28. You're better than that, Kyle. I'm texting you during the game. Not texting you, but tweeting at Kyle Shanahan. I know that's yours. I know you use that. Don't act like you're not peeking at your phone mid-game. I was giving you the instructions. Do better, Kyle. And again, it's because I respect him. Work as hard for Nick Mullins as you work for Jimmy Garoppolo. You never see Kyle Shanahan come out with Jimmy Garoppolo and call 3 straight passes to start a game. Mullins' last 2 starts is how he starts it. Why? Because Mullins is better? Because Mullins has so many more weapons? Because Debo's out there and Kittle and Ayuk? No. Real quick, Justin School, my God. What happened to him? I kind of liked him last year. He played well. Then he got ran over by Zadarius Smith. He hasn't been the same. He was going to get Nick Mullins killed in this game. Before the game, I did a pregame show with the All 49ers crew, and I asked the guys, who needs to play great in this game for the Niners to not get mollywopped? They got mollywopped. That's the technical term for what just happened. I said it needed to be Kyle Shanahan. He doesn't play, but he needed to be on his A game, and he wasn't. Someone left a $5 tip. I'm really sorry. I should have answered your question. My bad. Hey, look, if you guys leave tips, I promise I'll answer your question. Even if you don't, I promise to answer your question. My bad. I'm on a roll right now. I'm ranting. At the end of the rant, I'll answer all your questions and make sure you don't spend $5 in vain. I'm sorry for whoever left that comment. My bad. Justin School, though, my God. He can't play next week. Yeah, thank goodness the Niners got Trent Williams. How much money did Trent Williams make tonight? He definitely got that second contract with the Niners, right? Justin School. Ugh. So, yeah, I thought Kyle Shanahan needed to have his A game for the Niners to win. In retrospect, even if Shanahan was on his A game and was calling the screens and all that stuff, there's only so much he could have done because Justin School would have ruined it eventually. Justin School needed to play well for the Niners not to get mollywopped, and he did not play well, guys. He did not play well. But to be fair, it wasn't just his fault. Mike McGlinchey. Mike. You still here, Mike? I didn't see you last week. I didn't see you this week. Mike, I would say you're better than that, but you're not. You're not. That's you. The guy who you don't notice until, oh, he's on his back. Look at that. Take a shot. The Mike McGlinchey game. But Justin School. So you got 2 of the worst pass protecting offensive tackles in the league. Daniel Brunskill at center. God, I felt really bad for Nick Mullins. I feel bad for any quarterback. Thank goodness Jimmy Garoppolo didn't play in this game. That seemed like the kind of game he wouldn't have made it through. Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't always make it through games, but that one, I'm impressed Nick Mullins didn't get hurt. That last shot he took from behind when he fumbled, ooh. And the thing about it here, there's no fans. You're in the press box, like 8 stories up, and you can hear it. It's like, oh my God. It's a really violent game. Did anyone ever say, football's a really violent game? I had no idea. They hit each other. Full speed. They just run into each other. It's unreal. I would not let my kid play this game. Whoa. What else we got? Hey, Ross freaking Dwelly. No, let's talk Richie James Jr. first. I deserve props here, guys. I've been saying since 2018, back when everyone thought Dante Pettis was good, that Richie James Jr. was better, and Richie James Jr. was the wide receiver the Niners should be developing. Basically, what Kyle Shanahan did was put together a game plan, and then when Brandon Ayuk got tested, had to sit out because he was in close contact with someone who tested false positive, Shanahan basically was like, all right, well, we don't have time to adjust this, so Richie James, you're Brandon Ayuk this week. You're getting 13 targets. And you know what? I don't know if Brandon Ayuk would have done any better. Now, Richie James Jr. had one drop. He had 9 catches out of 13 targets for 184 yards and a touchdown. Would Brandon Ayuk really have done much better? Would he? Would Kendrick Bourne have done better? I like Kendrick Bourne. But this Richie James Jr. gets one start, goes for 184. For his career, he's averaging 20 yards a catch, right? He's like the wide receiver version of Raheem Mostert. Held him down. Finally gets an opportunity. Hell of a player. Had the one drop. Had a holding penalty. Okay. I like him. Play him more. Ross Dwelly, too. 3 targets, 3 catches, 54 yards. It's the same story every week when he gets an opportunity. He's money. Not flashy, but money. Not fast, super sure-handed. Not fast, but shifty. Gets open. I don't understand how River Craycraft got more targets than Ross Dwelly. The Niners really had a few guys in this game who were winning as receivers. Richie James Jr., Ross Dwelly, Kyle Juszczyk, and Jerick McKinnon. Juszczyk got 1 target. Ross Dwelly got 3. And what did Jerick McKinnon get? A couple? Meanwhile, River freaking Craycraft, number 86 apparently. How did he get that name? Isn't that child abuse, naming a kid River? What if he doesn't like the water? What if he can't swim? That's just unfair. The expectations they're putting on him. I mean, what if he's more of a creek? I think tonight he was more of a creek. A pond. Pond Craycraft. I was making fun of McKinnon too, calling him Tugboat McKinnon. He was better than that tonight. So let's go defense. Let's talk Robert Saleh because, again, in the second quarter, I'm getting tweets saying, fire Robert Saleh. Saleh's a bum. They're only losing 7-3. So what should Robert Saleh have done better in this game? Okay, well, they couldn't stop the run. So clearly you got to put 8 men in the box, right? Well, they also couldn't cover Devontae Adams even when they were in good position. So now you got to double team him while putting 8 in the box. And then you got to blitz too because you have no pass rush. So really what Robert Saleh needed was 13 players, 14. If he had 14 players, he would have shut down the Packers easily, dude. Like no problem. But he didn't. You can't load the box, double cover the number 1 wide receiver, and blitz at the same time. I mean, you got to choose one thing to shut down, and there was nothing he could. What I saw from Robert Saleh is, you got to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. They couldn't do it. When they blitzed, they got beat deep. They could not touch Aaron Rodgers. The only player on this defense that touched him was Jordan Willis, who's been on the team for 2-3 weeks. He's actually not bad. Jordan Willis right now and Kerry Hyder, they're okay. Although Kerry Hyder didn't do anything in this game. This pass rush is non-existent. I really feel bad for Robert Saleh because usually there's you can work around 1 weakness or 2. The whole defense is a weakness, except for the middle linebacker, Fred Warner. I mean, they're paying $17 million a year or more for the invisible man on the defensive line. Number 91. What's his name? I forget his name. Number 91. They pay him a lot of money. And he's tall, so you see him. But then the play starts, and he's kind of like playing patty cake with the offensive lineman in front of him. You know what I'm talking about? This is my impression of Eric Armstead. Armstead right here. But when the quarterback starts running, it's and then falling on the ground. That's Eric Armstead. $17 million a year to play patty cake. I'm better at patty cake than Eric Armstead. I have practice. I actually was pretty good at patty cake because I didn't play varsity football. So, but it doesn't look like he did either. What? Hey, man. I said this was going to happen. I got to say. The contract year, Eric Armstead. He's not that good. He wasn't good in 2015, 2016, 2017, or 2018. In 2019, he was in a contract year, okay? And the thing about him, two things. He was playing next to Bosa, Ford, and Buckner. So when those four were on the field together, every offense was like, if there's one guy we're going to get beat by, it's Armstead. He's the fourth best rusher. He's a great number 4 rusher. Number 1? No, he'll get you 3 sacks in a season. That's what he'll do if he's your the pass rusher on the team. The other thing, last year, the Niners defense was defined by its effort. The Niners played with more enthusiasm than any defense in the league. And I really felt that Eric Armstead was probably the hardest playing player on the hardest playing defense in the league. Like, he was on fire. He was a wrecking ball last year. He was on a mission for them greens. You know what I'm saying? On a mission for them greens. He saw them greens like right over there, and he was like, "Oh, I'm getting them. That 85 million now? Oh, I'm getting that. Oh, I'm getting that." And then he got it. And now he's back to playing patty cake. That's why you don't reward people for one good contract year. Niners made the same mistake with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo balled out in 2017 when he had some money to make. 2018, 3 games. 2019, pretty good for a guy coming off a torn ACL. 2020, hurt. Eric Armstead, not worth the money. Not worth the money. At least he got it, though. Because if he had waited and hadn't got it this offseason, he'd never get it. He's so exposed. But I don't want to just harp on Eric Armstead because he wasn't the only highly paid player floating around this game. Let's talk about Jimmy Ward. I've been talking about Jimmy Ward for the past few weeks, and a lot of people are like, Grant, you're being way too hard on Jimmy Ward. People I respect. I'm not calling anyone out. I mean, from Kyle Shanahan to Robert Saleh to Vish, I mean, everyone being like, dude, Grant, you just don't get it, okay? He's a really good tackler, and he's versatile. So he allows us to disguise coverages. How did those disguise coverages help the Niners tonight? Here's my impression of Jimmy Ward. Hey, good play. Good play, Jaquaski. Oh, good play, K1. Hey, nice tackle, Fred Warner. I saw that. I was almost there. Oh, that was me. My bad. I should have got that one. My bad. Jimmy Ward's the guy he's the guy who always almost makes the play. He's the guy who makes the tackle 20 yards down the field. Good tackler. Heck of a tackler. Doesn't do anything else well. And you know what? He was the Niners' best safety today, Jimmy Ward. The other two were awful. Now, Jaquaski Tart made a nice PBU early in the game, gave him a touchdown in the red zone. And Jaquaski Tart has been doing this. He's been doing this forever. He's pretty good in man-to-man coverage, but he peaks in the backfield. He gets fooled by run and pass. He's looking in the backfield. He doesn't cover his man, gives up a touchdown. Guy's wide open after the play. Jaquaski Tart's like, hey, it's my bad. Yeah, it's your bad. We know that. You're the guy who gets beaten in the red zone. I mean, happened earlier this year. I'm tired of the, hey, my bad. You're 29, 28, you're making $7 million a year. Enough, my bad. Either make the play or get out of the game. So he left the game. He got hurt. He gets hurt a lot, right? Marcel Harris comes in. Marcel. Gives up that long touchdown catch when he wasn't even covering Mark. It's like, okay. So Marcel Harris, not that good. He can hit. He can't cover. Jimmy Ward just floats around and tries not to get noticed. That's how I play soccer. When I play soccer, or when I did in high school, basically I was just trying not to get yelled at. So I would run back on defense just enough to not get yelled at, or make the run on offense to the corner just enough to not get yelled at. But did I want the ball? No. Was I the one going to score that? No. I was just on the field until I got subbed off. That's Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward is the Grant Cohn of free safeties. He's out there. He's got a great view. He's got an interesting personality. People like him. Pretty handsome too, I think. Pretty handsome. Not an impact player. He plays football like I play soccer, which isn't good. It's not good. Anyone who's seen me play soccer can attest that I'm just not an impact player. In fact, a lot of my close friends probably pretty frustrated with how I played soccer. I'm on an indoor soccer team. Really let it hang them out to dry a lot. I really look at soccer as cardio. I got my running in. I didn't help the team win. I might have contributed to the loss. That's how Jimmy Ward plays free safety. He got his cardio out there. He runs around, man. I love the way he runs around. He gets a sweat going, a lather, hits people 30 yards downfield, Yeah. Jimmy, how did you convince people to give you $28 million to do that, man? How did you convince people to take you in the first round of the NFL draft? I don't get it. Don't you dare shut me out. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this, what they're doing. It's not fair. I don't like it. I'm saying, I don't care. I'm freaking staying. Hold on. It's kind of romantic. What's up, guys? How you doing? What's up? All right. So what I was trying to say is Jimmy Ward, not a big fan, but he's better than Tart and freaking Marcel Harris. My God. My bad. I don't want to see that. I want to see Tavarius Moore on the field. And after the game, someone asked Kyle Shanahan, hey, how come you never played Tavarius Moore? And he's like, because he's not a strong safety. I don't care. I don't care. Play him. Move Jimmy Ward to strong safety or bench Jimmy Ward. Play Jonathan Cyprien at strong safety and Tavarius Moore at free safety. Something else. I'm tired of watching Jimmy Ward watch football. I watch football. Jimmy's supposed to play. I'm tired of Jaquaski Tart saying, hey, my bad. Nah. Tavarius Moore's better. Put him in the game. When Tavarius Moore's in the game, I don't see a lot of my bads. I don't see a lot of, hey, I'll get that next time. Hey, no. Let him play the corners. Okay, first of all, Emmanuel Mosley. I love Emmanuel Mosley. I freaking love Emmanuel Mosley. He's getting burned. He's on the brink of getting benched. I mean, he got burned by DK last week, recovered, right? Beat early, breaks up the deep pass late. This game, beat early again, gives it the long touchdown catch to Devontae Adams. Not good. Kello gives that up. He's done. And really, Mosley, if you give up any more of those, you're kind of done too. You got to stop. And what Mosley did on that play is he didn't squeeze the wide receiver into the boundary. When you're playing that, Salah talked about it the other day. The wide receiver is trying to keep space between him and the sideline so the quarterback can drop the ball over and there's some room. The cornerback is trying to widen the wide receiver out, push him to the sideline so there's no window to complete the pass. The first one, if you go back and watch, Mosley did not squeeze that route at all. There was a lot of space between Adams and the sideline, and Adams is a great player. He made the catch. It was a perfect throw from Aaron Rodgers, a perfect catch, and not good coverage from Emmanuel Mosley. He was there at the catch point, but you need to do your work before that. You got to push the guy to the sideline. Later, Rodgers went back to Adams deep against Mosley, played it perfectly. I respect that about Mosley. He gets beat once, he doesn't go in the tank. He corrects and plays it better the second time. What I wanted to see from Mosley was not just how he played at the catch point, but how do you push this guy to the sideline? Because I'm sure that's what the DB coach said to him. Dude. And he did. Good for Mosley. I still think he's a starter in this league. Verrett, I've really been encouraged with Jason Verrett this season. But he played like he had no interest in this game tonight. Maybe he didn't. I mean, he played like Eric Armstead. Penalties, gave up a long catch and kind of jogged after the guy and then gave up a touchdown in the red zone. Cost yourself a lot of money today, Jason. Cost yourself a lot of money. I'm sure Richard Sherman was in his living room eating Haagen-Dazs ice cream, just giggling, evil laugh. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. The Niners thought they didn't need me. Oh. Did Richard Sherman's stock just go up? I don't think he's coming back, though. Do you have a feeling that Richard Sherman? I don't think Richard Sherman's coming back. Jason Verrett. Ooh. So the Niners are still going to need an all-new secondary next year, right? They're going to need 2 corners, 2 safeties. No, they got Tavarius Moore. So 2 corners and a safety and a nickel. And a pass rush. Hey, they got Fred Warner, though. Real quick. Fred Warner's a freaking stud. Fred Warner is a freaking stud. I think what's kind of discouraging about this team is it doesn't have a standard. It's supposed to be a premier team. They went to the Super Bowl last year. Was it a one-off? They have a little bit of adversity. They get blown out over and over and over again. Eric Armstead floats through games. Jimmy Ward floats through games. You know who doesn't do that? Fred Warner. Fred Warner came to play tonight. 13 tackles, 1 for a loss. And he was into the game the whole time. Every time he made a tackle, he'd get up and flex on the guy underneath him. And Fred Warner earned that. Fred Warner was emotionally locked in ways that no other 49ers were, and that I could tell. He's a captain. He's the leader of the team, not George Kittle, not Jimmy Garoppolo, not even Kyle Shanahan from the looks of it tonight. Fred Warner. He leads by example. He leads by every way of leading. And I love watching him. 23 years old. The only person on this team who upholds a standard even when the odds are hopeless. You know who else was like that? Joe Staley. George Kittle isn't like that. I like George Kittle. But the quintessential leader is the mature, stoic guy. It's Fred Warner. Remember that video from training camp where 27-year-old George Kittle is singing Avril Lavigne, and it's real cute, Avril Lavigne, George Kittle, blah, blah, blah. And he's right next to Fred Warner, and he's trying to get Fred Warner to sing along with him, and Fred Warner is in another universe, man. He's locked into practice. He doesn't even giggle. It doesn't even seem like he's really aware of what George Kittle's doing, and if he is aware, he looks maybe slightly annoyed. Or just oblivious. That's Fred Warner. That's the leader of the team. He showed it tonight. And, when they go to New Orleans next week, Fred Warner's going to show up. I guarantee it. I don't know about anyone else, but he will. 23 years old. Ton of respect for him. Love watching him play. All right, so this was a very negative post-game show. I'll take a couple questions later. But let's talk about the future. It's bleak, what just happened. The Niners have now lost 2 in a row. They've gotten blown out, both of them. They're 4-5. They got to go to New Orleans next week. That's one of the toughest road trips in the league. They're playing a great team. It's over, right? I don't know. I mean, if River Craycraft and Justin School start next week, yeah, it's over. But look, the Niners just played 3 games in like 10 days? 10 days, right? 11 days? 3 games in 11 days. That's impossible. 2 of them are on the road. They're exhausted. They have COVID. I mean, this wasn't going to go well. But now they have 11 days off, right? Something like that. 11 days off. They're going to get players back. They get to go play in a dome. Their undrafted quarterback who has arm strength issues is going to be playing with no wind. Deebo Samuel might play. Brandon Ayuk should play. Kendrick Bourne should play. Richie James should remain in the game plan, as should Ross Dwelly. It's not impossible. The season isn't over, and if they win next week, they're 5-5. 5-5 heading into the bye week. And I really think 9 wins does it. So if they win next week, then they would just have to go 4-2 the rest of the way. Impossible? No. Likely? No. But impossible, no. So what I'm saying is the Niners, they can either do one or two things. They can go in the tank. They can say, we stink. Nick Mullins stinks. We stink. Kyle Shanahan stinks. It's over for us. Or they can say, you know what? One bad game, one bad circumstance. We're never going to be in a position again when we're starting River Craycraft and Justin School. Let's forget about this game, regroup, and win next week. I'm not saying they won't. I'm not saying they won't. Although, you know, to beat Drew Brees, you're probably going to need Eric Armstead to do something. Eric, anytime you want to do something, you're more than welcome. I'm giving you an open invitation to do something against the Saints. Because I haven't seen you do anything in weeks, dude. Do something. I'm challenging you to make an impact next week. You too, Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward, Eric Armstead, you're on the team because the Niners wanted you over DeForest Buckner. Prove them right. Act like you care. Because it's one thing for the guys, the backups who are making $750,000 to struggle. It's another thing for you to struggle. You're supposed to be the best player on the team. Act like it. All right. You guys got any questions? Tank for D Ford. Don't you like how they shut down the lights on me? That's racist, I think. I think it's anti-Semitic. I think it's because I'm Jewish. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think they like Jews. I'm not leaving. I'm sleeping here. Is Kinlaw overrated? Yes. Here, Kinlaw plays harder than Eric Armstead, but Kinlaw hasn't gotten paid yet. He may never get paid. He's not an impact player. Oh, my goodness. This team, they really need to hire me as the general manager, head coach, offensive coordinator, quality control, and owner. Is that so much to ask? Just those things. I would get this team on track. What you need to know about Matt Ryan, if the Niners trade for Matt Ryan, is he'd be cheaper for them than Jimmy Garoppolo. He'd be cheaper for them than he is for the Falcons because the Falcons gave him a huge signing bonus, and when they trade him, that's on them. They already paid the bonus, and the bonus is prorated into the cap every year that he's signed. That's on the Falcons. The Niners are only on the hook for the base salary and the roster bonus, which makes him cheaper than Jimmy Garoppolo. Look out for that, because I think it's likely that whoever goes into Atlanta next year is going to want to draft one of these guys in the first round, and they'll get rid of 37-year-old Matt Ryan. And who's going to want him? Kyle Shanahan. That's who. That's who. So remember, when you're looking at these quarterbacks' salaries and wondering if the Niners can afford them, you disregard the bonus. The prorated bonus is the responsibility of the team trading the player, not the team acquiring the player. Okay? Remember that. That makes Matt Ryan gettable. Jed will love that. I love Jed. Do you think Jed was here tonight? Do you think he stayed for the whole game? How happy do you think Jed York is having watched blowout after blowout after blowout? Yo, Grant, Jimmy Ward responded to you on Instagram. I'm not even on Instagram. What do you say? Can these players stop responding to me on Instagram and start responding to me in the games? Jimmy, I don't need you to clap back at me. I'm better at the clapping game, okay? You play football for a living. I talk for a living. If you want to get into this with me, you're going to lose. You just need to respond with your play. You make a play, I'll shut up. That's how it works. You float through the game, I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to make videos about it because you're making almost $10 million a year, buddy. You don't want the scrutiny? Give your money back. Give the contract back. Play for the league minimum. I'll leave you alone. I promise. I promise. Give me $10 million and you can scrutinize me. But I don't think you want to go into it, man. I do this for a living. You know? I'm the Fred Warner of talking crap. You're the Grant Cohn soccer player of free safeties. Remember that. Does every team have a Grant Cohn, or are we just blessed? Nah, man. No, there are no beat writers who do it like this. Ever since newspapers died 20 years ago, beat writers have been survivalists, and they look at their livelihood depending on the team liking them and the fans liking them. I just troll fans for a living. So I don't know. It works for me. I don't really troll fans, but you know what I mean. Did Jimmy really say something on Instagram, or was you guys just lying? I don't think he would. He seems so above it. And if he, I mean, I'm not even on Instagram. Armstead and Ward need to hear it. They're making too much money, and the message isn't getting across to them. Whoever's messaging, whoever's sending the SMS. Are you in Levi's? Yeah. Does it not look like I'm in Levi's? Yeah. They shut down the lights on me. I think they're trying to tell me to wrap it up. Wrap it up. But I'm not going to wrap it up. No. No. I'm a righty. He deleted it. You guys are crazy, man. Are the Niners going to go 5-11 this year, and then after every loss, they're going to go on Twitter and say, leave us, be nice? No. You guys aren't champions. The Niners still want to have the championship dispensation where they're free from criticism because they won something. Like the SF Giants. Nah, you guys didn't win nothing. You guys are 4-5. That's how you get talked to. I'm not 4-5. I've been undefeated since like 24 years old. I've been batting 1,000. All right. You guys are 4-5. You're batting what? 450? Why do you like Zack better than Trey in the draft? Okay. I'm going to say because I like them both. I really like Trey Lance's athleticism, but Trey Lance has played like 13 games since high school. If I'm taking a quarterback who has that little track record and experience, because I think the quarterback position is all about reps. The more reps you get, the better you are. If I'm taking a guy with 1 year of experience, it better be Kyler Murray. It better be the best athlete in the world. Someone who's a top 5 pick in 2 sports. Trey Lance is a good athlete. He's not Kyler Murray. So I'm a little nervous. To me, I'm nervous taking a quarterback in round 1 unless he has 3 years of experience, a bunch of wins, and a little athleticism. Lance doesn't have the experience. I'm nervous. I mean, Mitch Trubisky was a 1-year wonder with some athleticism. Well, not a great athlete, a good athlete, 1-year wonder. You saw what happened. And I like Trubisky. So I'm trying to learn. Okay. Lance, I like him. He makes me nervous. Zach Wilson's been a starter for 3 years. He's playing now. Trey Lance is shut himself down. So I like Zach Wilson's arm. I like the way he could throw off different platforms, the way he can move. I like his accuracy. I trust what I've seen from that. I don't know. Lamar Jackson had multiple years of starting. He had lots of success, won lots of games. Lamar Jackson in retrospect, he checked all the boxes. Not a 1-year wonder. A lot of experience in college. Great numbers, accurate. You know what I'm saying? All right, I just got a tip. Hold on. Do you think Dre Greenlaw earns a big contract in 2021? I really like him and what he's becoming. No. He's got a ways to go. He's not going to get an extension until 2022. Fred Warner is going to get a major, major extension. He's worth a lot of money. I mean, he could end up being the highest paid inside linebacker in the league. In the league. So what are you going to pay him? I think that's partially the reason the Niners traded Quan Alexander. They're looking to next year, looking how well Fred Warner's playing. Like, man, we can't even begin to give him an offer that's respectful. So let's start to create some cap space. Greenlaw is going to be around for a while. It's year 2. They don't have to extend him until year 5. Warner, they got to do something about. And Warner deserves it. And he's not going to be commanding $20 million a year. It's really freaking cold out here. Woo! I should go home before I get pneumonia, as my grandma would say. You get pneumonia. She didn't talk like that, though. My Italian grandma, she would always talk about pneumonia. Sounded awful. Hurts, don't it? I tried. They don't listen to me. Or they do now. They didn't used to. What's your pick if you were GM at the draft? This year, I don't even know what pick they got. I'm taking quarterback, though. If they can trade for Matt Ryan, I'm taking corner. If they can't trade for Matt Ryan, I'm taking quarterback. One or the other. One or the other. One or the other. Joseph, you didn't even have a question. You just gave me $5. That is so nice of you. So what I will say is, yes, I agree with what you're saying. $5. I love that. I agree. Woo! Are they keeping Mick Mellons after this year? Yeah, I think so. He'll be a restricted free agent. He'll be hella cheap. Hella cheap. Easier to keep him than the $27 million man with the bum ankle and the smile. What a smile. And if they keep CJ Beathard next year, I'm boycotting. I'm going on a hunger strike. I'm not eating if they keep CJ Beathard on this team next year. Hunger strike. So, yeah, keep Nick Mullins. He's cheap. Knows the system. If we could get Justin Fields, would you still choose Zack over him? I need to watch more of Justin Fields, but I've really never been very into Ohio State quarterbacks. I feel like what they're asked to do at Ohio State is like checkers. You know, it's like a lot of quarterbacks actually have to do a lot of reading at the line of scrimmage. Like Joe Burrow, for example, at LSU, he was running the Saints offense. He would get to the line of scrimmage, 5 wides, only 5-man protection, facing blitzes, having to set the protection, do all that stuff. He came into the league as an NFL quarterback. Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, JT Barrett, they play in this kind of like up-tempo, fast-break basketball style offense where it's just like really quick, mindless reads. And then you just get the ball to these like 5-star athletes, way better than the people defending them in college. And then you get guys with like 50 touchdown passes who look great and then get to the league and flop. I'm not saying Justin Fields will do that. I like him better than Haskins, better athlete, but I'm just nervous. I get nervous with Ohio State quarterbacks. I get nervous with quarterbacks who don't have a long track record. It doesn't mean I'd write him off. That's just where I start my evaluation, and it's why I prefer Zach Wilson now. It's so freaking cold, guys. Yeah, Mick Mellons, baby. I'm going to stop. I'm going to go home before I die because I think this is becoming a hazard to my health. And I think I'm pretty much just rambling at this point. You know what I mean? Just filling time. So thanks for watching. It's really late. Do I think they'll cut, trade, or readjust Jimmy next year? I think they'll trade him. And if they can't find a trade partner, I think they'll cut him. Too expensive. He is too expensive, and I don't think he wants to come back. I think that's the thing. I think it's a mutual divorce. Remember the mutual parting of the ways between the Niners and Jim Harbaugh? I think it's like that, guys. I think it's like that. It's old Castorona. I'm going to try not to, though. I'm going to try not to. Thank you guys so much for the tips, for the questions, for watching. You guys are real MVPs, really, for sure. Take care.